Today's video is about how I went to college twice and the second time was much better than the first time. So this story starts when I was at school. I was in my last year of school and everybody had to pick which university they wanted to go to, which college they wanted to go to, what they wanted to do after they left school. And to be honest, I think the way my school did it at this time was like everybody had to pick which university they wanted to go to, even if they didn't really want to go to university. And I, at this point, suffered with panic attacks and knew that I wouldn't really be able to go somewhere far. So a lot of my friends were choosing to go to a completely different city, quite far from home, sometimes change countries. Like, people were choosing pretty extravagant, fun sounding, crazy experiences, and I knew that I would not be able to do that. And so I was looking at different college places. For us in the UK, I think college is different than in other parts of the world, in America and stuff. For us, college is something that it's not like university. University is where you go and get a degree, whereas college was kind of like a halfway point between those two things. So a lot of people would go to college if you didn't get the grades that you wanted, or you needed a bit of extra time before you went to university. So that sounded like me, that sounded like something I wanted to do. I never really put much more thought into whether I'd be able to do it. I just thought it would be good. So I went to study social sciences. So it was things like philosophy, psychology, sociology, and all that kind of stuff. The content of the course sounded amazing. Like, I'm interested in politics and philosophy and all these things. So I was quite looking forward to it over the summer. And then my first day came along and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be horrible. But I kind of, you know, that first day of school feeling, like, or first day of a new job, like that feeling of just like, oh my God, I have no idea what to expect. This is so scary. But I kind of thought, you know, this is how most people feel on their first day of doing anything new. It is scary. Doing the first thing for the first time is scary. And so I went and I got through the day and I was like, okay, tomorrow's gonna be better. And I remember every single day waking up and feeling that way, feeling horrifically sick. I felt physically like I had the flu. I was so unbelievably anxious. My tummy swirling the whole time, thoughts racing through my head of what if I'm sick in this classroom, what if I have a panic attack, what if it takes me ages to get home. Some of my classes were on the 4th floor, and so it'd take a while to like walk down all of the stairs. I was like, what if I have a panic attack and it takes me 10 minutes to get down the stairs and I can't get outside in time, and all of these horrible thoughts. And I remember going into different classes and it being so interesting. Like, psychology was so interesting and politics was such an interesting class. All of the content was amazing. The people in my class were really nice, but it just was not working. And I remember even at lunch times, like, I had a really nice group of friends in college, but even at lunchtime we'd be sitting outside on the grass and I'd just be thinking, I can't go back in there. Like, I couldn't eat, like, I couldn't really do anything. It was horrible. And then I remember one day being like, I just can't do this. This just isn't working. I wasn't able to learn anything at all because I was just constantly in that fight or flight mode, and I was constantly trying to fight this panic feeling. It just didn't work out. So I left college. When I left college, I actually think I probably got a little bit worse. Like, I didn't leave the house for a while because my panic attacks were just so bad. So I spent some time just like trying to rest, trying to recuperate. I got a little job in a pub, which sounds like the worst nightmare for people with anxiety, but my boss was so lovely that it really worked out, and I think I grew so much confidence from that. And I actually went back to college, and this time I went to study counselling, and this was one of the best experiences I've ever had. This was probably 2, maybe 3 years after first trying out college. It was in the same building, on the same floor that I used to go to classes in, but this felt like a completely different situation. Not only because I was mentally a little bit less stressed, although my anxiety was still quite bad. It was the environment I was in, it was the teacher I was with, it was the actual structure of the lessons. It was the permission I gave myself to leave the classroom at any point I didn't feel comfortable. I remember my teacher saying on the first day, obviously we were studying counselling, so a lot of the content was so interesting to me and also quite helpful. And I remember one of the first things the teacher said, who obviously was also a counsellor, was, When somebody's in a situation where they are stressed and anxious, they cannot learn. They physically cannot take things in because you are trying to reduce your anxiety, your serotonin, and all of these crazy hormones are going up and down. It's like you can't learn in those situations. But if you put somebody in a situation where they feel calm and relaxed and they can be themselves, they can't help but learn. So even if you're in a situation where you're not that fussed, if you're calm and you feel heard and understood, and all of your hormones are at a regular level, you can't help but take things in and learn things. And that just kind of opened my mind a bit more. And obviously during counselling training, we went into like different groups, and like we had to train at being a counsellor. We had to pretend we were counsellors for the whole session, and we learned those different theories. And I just wanted to highlight both of these situations, because if I had left college that first time and thought, that didn't work, never going to try that again, I wouldn't have a counselling certificate just now, and I wouldn't have had that incredible experience I had. I also think that people should go to college and university and stuff straight after school, but I actually don't think that we should. I think we should have some time to figure out who we are, what makes sense to us, what we enjoy. The counselling training made much more sense for me than the social sciences training. Being a bit older and being able to make my own decisions a bit more helped so much. And if you are in a position where you may have tried something before and it did not work because of your anxiety, I think one of the best things we can do is take a break. Take a break from it. Don't think about it for a while. Rest if you can. I know these are luxuries, but if you're able to rest and able to take time out from it and just do something else for a while, I think if it's meant to be for you, you will come back to education, or you will come back to work, or whatever it is. A better mindset, with a more grown-up mindset, a more understanding mindset of your own self, knowing yourself a bit more and your triggers, and what you can do when you feel like you're being triggered. It was honestly, thank God I did that, and also thank God it didn't work out the first time, because I think if it had worked out the first time, maybe it would have been great and I would have gone on to do something else, but I wouldn't have got my counselling certificate, and I wouldn't be thinking about going back to college now to do more counselling studies, and I might not have started YouTube and ended up right here where you're listening to me right now. You know, that is super cheesy, but everything does definitely happen for a reason a lot of the time, or even if it's not happening for a reason, you can take things from it. So if you're in that position now, take a break, take a rest, and if you are meant to go back to it, then you will go back to it in your own time, when you're not forcing yourself into something you're not quite ready for, because that's totally okay. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!